Talking Trees with Lily and Jad. Welcome to Talking Trees, your weekly overview of the world of urban forestry and arboriculture. This week, we bring you a rich tapestry of insights. On Monday, we explore the intricate bond between soil, urban trees, and the hidden microorganisms that fuel growth and defense. Tuesday spotlights the role of the groundworker in arboriculture, inspired by Jeff Jepson's book Groundie, and reveals the daily challenges and rewards of working the land. Wednesday dives into lightning protection, from its surprising impact on tree evolution to practical strategies for safeguarding both nature and structures. Thursday examines the emerging link between green spaces and cancer, reviewing studies that highlight nature's potential influence on our health. Friday celebrates a milestone with the 50th anniversary of arboriculture and urban forestry, and introduces the global network of the International Society of Arboriculture. And Saturday unveils the pharmaceutical promise of trees, exploring research on fraxinus and white willow for their anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidant properties. Join us as we uncover these diverse stories shaping the future of our urban forests. Welcome to Talking Trees.
Welcome back to the deep dive. This week, we are going to be looking at talking trees.
Okay.
And
sounds good.
As an arborist, I know your time is valuable. So we are going to be going through this week's episodes and picking out like
the highlights.
Yeah, the highlights.
Yeah,
the important stuff that you need to know.
Sure.
So this week, they covered everything from soil microbiology to lightning protection and even some new research on medicinal uses for trees.
That's right.
So it's a lot to cover.
Yeah.
So let's jump right in.
Okay.
Monday's episode really got down to earth, exploring the world of soil microbiology. And they talked all about the 2020 research of Miguel Ángel Sierra Castellanos.
Right.
And it's really easy to forget about like what's going on beneath our feet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in urban environments.
You know, we are dealing with compacted soil, pollution, all sorts of stuff that trees don't really face in their natural habitats.
Yeah. And, you know, what he found was that those little microbes living in the soil bacteria, fungi,
The whole crew.
all of them, they're essential for tree health. They're like the unsung heroes.
Yeah.
They aid in nutrient uptake, disease resistance.
Help them deal with stress. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
And it really is like a symbiotic relationship.
Totally.
The trees provide the home and the nutrients for the microbes, and the microbes
Help the trees thrive.
help the trees thrive. Exactly.
Yeah, and as arborists working in urban settings, it's like
a secret weapon.
yeah, like this whole world that we can tap into.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's not just about picking the right tree. It's also about fostering that healthy foundation.
Yeah, the right environment.
So that makes me wonder, is there any way to assess soil health in the field without running expensive lab tests?
That's a good question.
Because you can't be doing that all the time.
Yeah, you can. Can't be doing that all the time. But there are a few things that you can look for.
Okay.
Like, look at the soil structure. Is it crumbly? Is it loose? Or is it
compacted?
Yeah, it's really compacted and dense.
Oh, okay.
You can also look for, earthworms, beneficial insects.
Right.
Those are all good signs.
Good indicators.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep an eye out for that on the next site visit.
For sure.
Speaking of getting our hands dirty, Tuesday's episode was all about Jeff Jepson's book, Groundie.
Oh, yeah, I love that book.
I will admit I laughed a few times listening to this one.
Yeah.
It brought back some memories of my early days as a groundie.
It's a rite of passage.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think for a lot of arborists.
Yeah, and it does a really good job of capturing the essence of that experience.
Totally. The camaraderie, the hard work, the satisfaction of getting the job done.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what you're doing that day. If you're hauling logs, if you're chipping branches, you feel good at the end of the day.
Tired, but yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You feel accomplished. And, anyone thinking about becoming an arborist should read this book.
They should. It's a must-read.
Because it's a realistic look at what the job is actually like.
It really is.
Both the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And, he also talks about a lot of the practical skills.
Yeah.
Like not tying safe chainsaw operation, essential stuff.
Yeah, the basics.
Yeah, and the safety.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is so important.
Huge.
But he doesn't just preach it at you.
Right.
He weaves it into the stories.
Yeah, it's part of the story.
So it's much more engaging.
It is. And he's got those other books, the one on tree felling.
Yeah.
And the one on knots.
Yeah. Have you read those?
I have. They're out of print right now, which is a shame.
Oh, that is a shame.
Because they're considered classics.
I've heard that.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll reprint them at some point because they're so valuable for everyone, really.
So fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, so Wednesday's episode got a little bit dramatic.
A little bit.
Talk about lightning protection.
Right.
And I think we can all agree this is so important.
It is.
When you think about the damage a lightning strike can inflict, not only on a tree,
Yeah.
but on structures and people.
Yeah, nearby.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And what was interesting about this is they presented like two contrasting views.
They did.
So on the one hand, they discussed a research paper from 2003
Oh, wow.
that explored the evolutionary role of lightning
Okay.
on trees and biodiversity.
Interesting.
So you know how lightning has shaped forests over millennia,
Wow. Okay.
influenced the diversity of the species we see,
Okay.
which is fascinating,
Yeah.
but doesn't really help me protect my client's oak tree
Yeah, that's
from
true.
lightning strike.
Yeah, you need something a little more practical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they shifted to a practical discussion,
Okay.
and they looked at guidelines for assessing the lightning risk
Okay.
and implementing some preventative measures.
Like, what kind of stuff are we talking about?
Well, they talked about the different types of lightning protection systems,
Right.
grounding techniques,
Mm-hmm.
even pointing strategies to help reduce the risk of a strike.
Okay, so even if you can't install a full-blown system,
Right.
there are things you can do to
Exactly.
minimize the risk.
Yep.
That's good to know.
So Wednesday's episode was a lot of good information there.
Yeah, for sure.
Thursday's episode was really interesting, talking about the connection between green spaces and cancer risk,
Oh, wow.
which is a really big topic right now.
Yeah, especially in public health.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they featured two studies.
Okay.
One was a Spanish study that looked specifically at breast cancer
Okay.
and proximity to green spaces.
Interesting.
And the other one was a 2022 systematic review
Okay.
that looked at the impact of green spaces on a variety of different cancers.
Okay, so broader.
Yeah, a much broader approach. And it's all still really ongoing.
Yeah.
But I think it highlights the potential of trees to contribute to human health
Yeah.
in ways that we haven't really considered before.
That's amazing. Right? Really cool.
It's not just about aesthetics
No.
and air quality anymore.
It could be about health.
Yeah, it could be about public health.
Mm-hmm.
So let's celebrate a milestone.
Okay.
Friday's episode marked the 50th anniversary of the Arboriculture and Urban Forestry Journal.
Wow. 50 years.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
Big one.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a publication.
And it's gone through a lot of changes, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's evolved right along with the field itself.
Yeah, and one of the biggest changes has been the shift to open access.
Yeah. That's huge for making that information accessible
Exactly.
to everybody.
So arborists around the world who may not have been able to access that information before.
Right. Students, researchers,
Yeah.
like anyone can get access to that now.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And of course, we got to acknowledge the International Society of Arboriculture.
Of course, the ISA.
The ISA.
Yeah, they're the ones behind the journal.
Yeah.
And they do so much for the field of arboriculture. It's unbelievable.
Well said.
Yeah.
Okay, Saturday's episode, we went on a deep dive into the potential medicinal properties of trees.
Oh, now we're talking.
Right.
I love this stuff.
So we always focus on the ecological benefits
Right.
and the aesthetic benefits.
Of course, yeah.
But they also have this long history of being used in medicine.
Yeah, intradental medicine.
Yeah, and modern science is starting to back that up.
Yeah, and figure out why.
Exactly.
Right, what are the actual compounds that are responsible
Yeah.
for these effects?
And they focused on fraxinus,
ash, yeah.
and Salix alba,
White willow.
white willow.
Okay.
So the freshness research was interesting.
Yeah, what did they find?
They found that it has compounds that could be anti-cancer,
Wow.
anti-inflammatory,
Really?
antioxidant effects.
Oh my gosh, so many things.
Right.
That's incredible.
A tree that we see every day
Yeah,
could be the key to fighting diseases.
that blows my mind.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's so cool.
That's pretty wild.
I'm curious, how do they even study this stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question.
How do they know?
I don't really know anything about the chemical composition of trees.
Right. It's how do you even start with something like that?
It's a whole other world.
It is.
But that's something I'd like to learn more about.
Yeah, me too, actually.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to challenge our listeners to take action.
Okay, I like it.
What resonated with you the most from this week's episodes?
Yeah. What are you going to do differently?
Exactly. Maybe it's trying a new pruning technique or conducting a soil test, or even just taking a few minutes to really appreciate the beauty of a tree.
Yeah, just that simple act of observation.
So let's go out there and be advocates for trees, share our knowledge, our passion,
Yeah.
and our commitment to protecting them.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us. And until next time, happy tree climbing.
Thank you for joining us on this week's Talking Trees journey. If you enjoyed our exploration of soil, urban trees, lightning protection, health, and the pharmaceutical promise of nature, Be sure to subscribe to the full episodes at www.herohero. Coast Talking Trees. Stay curious and keep exploring. Until next time.